Welcome to AARP, Arizona Hispanic Connection. Educate. Celebrate. Connect. Arizona Hispanic Connection.
Welcome to Arizona Barrio Stories. Thank you for being a part of this unique platform. Thank you for your stories and thank you for your pictures. Please keep inviting people. Thank you for viewing what we have. David Baraluna is back. He always has good information for us. We always welcome him. Learning about finances is so important. David, welcome back.
Thank you. Very excited to be here again, talking about such an important topic, finances. I know a lot of people might not want to talk about it, but it's very important. It can get you in trouble, or if you manage it well, you can do a lot of things with finances.
The last time you were here, we talked about credit cards.
Yes.
So now that we have our credit card and we did everything that you told us to do, now some of us might hopefully not get into debt. So talk to us.
Debt is an ugly thing. And so we're gonna devote 2 programs, this one and then the next one, to talk about debt, how to handle debt. So this one is going to be the beginning, when you're kind of dealing with it, but you're still surviving, so to speak. You haven't synced, right? And then on the second show, we are going to move into the realm of what do you do when you're really in bad shape, in debt. And sometimes, there are some consolidation concepts, companies that do these kinds of, they help people. To be upfront about it, we really do not recommend. We don't recommend consolidation of debts or hiring companies when you can do it yourself. A lot of times it's not going to be in your best interest, and many times people do it just because they don't want to deal with it. I'd rather pay money, but somebody's going to do it for me. But there are some things, in other words, what they do, you can do. But that's going to be the second show. This one, we're going to begin to see some warning signs. So what are warning signs that a person is beginning to have some issues with debt? So I have 4. And again, I have to repeat that all this material that I'm covering here is part of a workbook. It's called Finances 50 Plus. They can download a PDF of it. It's a workbook. I think we showed in one of the past shows. They can look for it and download it into their computer, so they can dive into the areas that they feel they need more help with, because some of the concepts they may already know, but there's always an area, right, that you want to know more about. So let's cover 4 debt warning signs. Number 1, using a credit card when you're already carrying a balance on it, right? So if you're using a credit card and you already have a balance, the logical thing to do would be, you know what? I'm not going to get any more credit. I'm not going to pay with credit anymore until I can pay my debt on this particular credit. So the fact that you have a balance and you keep using it, it's already a warning sign. Okay, so that's a very good one. Number 2, using a second credit card when the first is maxed out.
Ooh.
Right? We have said in the past that sometimes you can use one with a low interest to pay the debt of a second card when the other one has a super high interest. That could be good. But here we're talking about 2 different things. We're talking about that this is full and then you just have another one and you need credit, so you start using a second one. So now you're generating 2 basically debts, 2 balances on each card. So it's a warning sign, definitely. Using a second credit card when the first is maxed out. And then not say anything about your credit score. Even though at this point people may say, forget about my credit score. Right now I just need to survive, right? So be very mindful of that. Number 3, not knowing if you can pay for the new purchases when the new bill arrives.
Oh my, that's an important one.
Yes. So basically you don't have the money, you don't see more income coming to you, but you said, you know what, I'm just going to buy this. That is a warning sign that you're already moving into the realm of debt. Let's go to number 4. Number 4 is buying more of or a better model of an item on credit than you otherwise can really afford if you paid cash. Same thing. Sometimes, you feel that you want to pay. I think this could probably be in, how sometimes there are stores that sell in bulk. And that usually is a good thing, because if you were to calculate the price per unit, you'll always come ahead when you buy in bulk. But sometimes if you're in debt, that might not be a good strategy, because you're going to get more in debt. So again, buying more of or a better model of an item on credit that you otherwise can really afford if you pay cash. Warning signs, definitely. So these are 4 warning signs. So that means this person is kind of beginning to get in trouble with debt, and it's not a good thing. Again, obviously, I like the first point. If you owe a balance, try to not use it anymore until you pay it, because remember the word interest? Interest is an ugly word. Do you agree?
Yes.
It is an ugly word. Interest simply means I'm letting you use this money, but I'm charging you. And the more you delay in paying that, the better for me, because I'm going to make more money on you not paying your bills. And guess what? Try not to pay the bills because I can make more money, kind of thing. So it's a kind of an ugly concept, if you will.
I'm sure there's a lot of companies out there that make a lot of money on people that do that.
And there's such a thing as predatory lending as well. So they prey on people that have a bad credit score, or they can't get the credit, and then they go and get these credits at super high interest rates. Very careful. That's why let's try not to get in debt in the first place, because once you get into it, it's very difficult to get out of it. We'll touch on some of the strategies to do it, to get out, but it's not easy. Okay, actions that help reduce credit card debt. Actions. So the first one was warning signs. Now some actions, right? Review your statement to see what you're really paying. And this we said in an earlier program, that we wanted to review what the statement is. Just like the disclosure box is important, to see the statements on a monthly basis is also very important. And we're going to be showing some slides on the video so that people I'm sure that this probably is going to be new for a lot of people, because we tend to not read the statement. So it'll have a summary of the account activity, payment information, minimum payment warning, late payment warnings, notice of changes to your interest rates, important changes to your account terms. Number 7, the transactions, of course. We're talking about the statement, right, that we get every month. And we strongly recommend that they get it online. So in other words, create an account with your with your company, the one that gave you the credit card, so you get it online. It's very important. The fees, the interest charged, and then interest charge calculation. So all these details are in your statement. So especially once you start having some issues, this is the place to go to really know how you're spending your money, and also to make sure that there are no expenses listed that you didn't make, right, or purchase.
Well, yeah, there might be something on there and you might look at it and think, wait a minute, I didn't buy that.
Right. Very important. This is kind of similar to the budget. Remember, we talk about when you do a budget, you do a column of the income and the expenses, and the expenses, we said, make a column. Is this a need or is this a want? Very similar. When you look at the statement, you will see, I'm spending a lot of money on coffee or eating out or what have you. So that's where you go when you're trying to deal with the debt. You have to go to the statement to see where you're spending your money, and then you need to make some changes, some cuts here and there, right? So that's why it's a very, very good strategy, action when you're dealing with debt. And another thing that is very, very important, and we'll conclude with this for this program, is your report, your credit report. Is very, very important.
And where can people get that?
Yeah, there are three companies, as we have said: Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. These three companies are credit bureaus. They are recognized by the government, and they keep track of your credit. So you can go to each one of them, and they are by law they're supposed to provide one report a year. So if you go to one, and in 4 months you go to the second, and in the 4 months you go to the third, you can end up with 4 credit reports in the year, free of charge. And we'll show the website, but it's called www.annualcreditreport.com. Very important. That way you get your credit reports, and then you can see and make sure that no one else has opened up credit on your with your information. And let's keep in mind that credit is always linked to your Social Security number. So when somebody, and we'll show a picture also of the credit report, it says credit report for such and such a person. So it'll have your name and the 4 digits of your Social Security number just to make sure it's you. And it'll tell you have a credit open with bank this, with bank that, with credit union here, or what have you. It'll show you all the credits that you have open with the different companies. And that is a very important step also when you're dealing with debt, just to make sure that you are, that somebody else didn't open. You know how when identity theft, they can use our Social Security number to open credit, right? And that is very, very important that we check not only the statement, but also the credit report. So checking your credit report often is strongly recommended. This will allow you to catch any discrepancies and even fraudulent activities. So these things we cover the credits, we cover the warning signs, and these actions that can help us deal with debt when in its early stage, because there comes a point where you're drowning in debt. Then there's going to be other actions that we are going to recommend, so for folks who are there to take. Again, not necessarily the hiring a company, because there's a lot of things that we can do ourselves to take control of this debt. So there you go.
David, thank you for giving us our tidbits.
Definitely.
I think it's really important that we offer this information to people to help them. Maybe they don't know where to go, and hopefully they don't get into trouble with their situation.
Definitely. It is my pleasure. Again, as we dive into these topics deeper, the more we realize that it's very, very important.
I will see you next time.
Sure.
From Arizona Barrio Stories, thank you for tuning in. This information is well accepted. Hopefully it will help you. There's warning signs that'll help us, and hopefully this will have touched you in a way, or maybe you know somebody that can utilize this information. Thank you for tuning in today, and thank you for being a part of Arizona Barrio Stories. We will see you soon.